Today's one of the biggest news days in a long time. In addition to the abrupt unilateral ending of the House intelligence investigation into Trump-Russia, Donald Trump has fired his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, and is going to be replacing him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo. Really the pinnacle of stability in the White House, right? Incredibly stable circumstances there. Over the weekend, it was announced that Rex Tillerson was canceling some events in Africa because he was ill. We now know, or at least are being told, that on Friday, Tillerson learned that Trump was firing him. So was that announcement about his illness real? Was it a cover-up of the fact that he had been fired, but it hadn't been publicly announced yet? We don't really know right now. But an interesting little element of this is that Gina Haspel is going to, she is the deputy CIA director. She is going to be stepping up to run the CIA. And there is already, if you look at drudgereport.com, there's already a counter distraction here where to take attention away from the pathetic instability of what's going on in Trump's cabinet, Drudge and other right-wing news are touting how Trump has done something amazing. He has appointed the first woman ever to run the CIA, which is true, and it's all fine, well, and good, except that Ms. Haspel is known in some circles as Ms. Torture, and we're going to be talking about that later on in the week. The official reasons that we're hearing for Tillerson being fired are that there are going to be trade negotiations happening as a result of these tariffs that Trump is putting in place. There are going to be possible talks with North Korea, and that bottom line, Trump and Tillerson just don't see eye to eye on some of this stuff. And I would argue that's mostly because Trump doesn't understand anything, and that really they're going to need someone in there as Secretary of State who's going to basically be a yes person for Trump. And Mike Pompeo is a great candidate for that. That being said, we learned from Rex Tillerson's spokespeople that he didn't speak to President Trump before the firing. He was unaware as to the reason for the firing and learned about it initially, apparently, through social media, although that certainly calls into question some of the timing elements. And there's still questions about the timing, right? The other possibility, if we don't believe that this was communicated to Tillerson on Friday, another possibility is that I told you last week about the poisoning using a nerve agent of a former Russian spy in the United Kingdom. The UK has put out a report saying that Russia has its fingerprints all over it. Rex Tillerson has accepted that Russia has its fingerprints all over it, even though the White House has not. And again, purely speculation, but maybe another reason why this might have, what really we've speculated about for a while, the possible departure of Tillerson, has accelerated or at least taken place now. Tillerson becomes the shortest serving Secretary of State, dating all the way back to the 19th century, I think to the 1880s. Super stable, folks. Never been a more stable cabinet than this one. This is also, I believe, part of the distraction campaign, because in addition to the House Intelligence Committee Republicans unilaterally ending their investigation into Trump-Russia, something major must be about to happen here, right? Robert Mueller must be very interested in speaking to Rex Tillerson, would be my guess. And what we're dealing with here, here's the difficulty, right, that we're dealing with at the show, and I know people in the audience are dealing with as well. There's this constant stream of just insane breaking stories that's almost paralyzing in a way. It's very difficult to keep perspective about the absurdity of what's going on because none of this is normal, right? Events that in most administrations would happen a couple times a year are happening almost daily. And by the way, Pompeo as Secretary of State is a disaster, right? Pompeo is not a guy that we talk about that much, but he is an Islamophobe along the lines of, take your pick, right? Sebastian Gorka, Michael Flynn. Pompeo loves this lunatic Frank Gaffney. Pompeo was part of the movement that was regularly implying that Obama either is Muslim or prefers Islam to Christianity. He suggested that American Muslims need to prove their loyalty to the United States in a way that has never been required by him or suggested by him of Christians or American Jews or even American atheists or agnostics. This is a disastrous direction diplomatically, in addition to being more of the same chaos, and it's likely not the end because the rumor continues to be out there that Michael Flynn's replacement, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, is also going to be leaving soon. So it is total chaos Don't believe for a second that this is stable, and don't believe for a second that this could be, might not be part of a distraction campaign, a preemptive one. My feeling is we're going to be hearing something big from Robert Mueller very, very soon. The video you just watched was made possible by support from you. Please go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. You can make a pledge of as little as $1 per month. And every dollar helps to support the work that we're doing, particularly in light of the YouTube ad boycott, which has been really bad.